threats.
Slap you in the face, you know.
Mate, you've not got what it takes.
Anger.
Don't, sir, don't.
Desperation.
I got no money at all.
What happens when debt
No, do you need me to lose my temper?
tracks you down?
I know my rights. Do not touch me again.
Up and down the UK.
No, I didn't ask you to come in.
We see Britain's most resilient High Court enforcement agents.
If you can just give me today.
No.
Dealing with every debtor's worst nightmare.
Don't lock us in, that would be a serious mistake.
Because if you can't pay,
This isn't my bill to pay for. It's nothing to do with me.
they'll take it away. Over the first quarter of 2017, nearly 30,000 county court judgments were issued against businesses in England and Wales, a 36% rise from the previous year. The average value of business judgments during this period exceeded £2,700. High Court enforcement agents Steve Pinner and Max Caraher are in Willesden, North London.
Ah, I know where I am now. That's the way it went, but you'll see the eye of it.
They're here to recover a debt of almost £15,000 owed by London Rental and Sales Limited to a property developer.
That's a considerable amount of money. Can you see the place? LRS, see it?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's go.
Ready, let's go.
A county court judgment was issued against the company, but it wasn't paid. The case was then escalated to the High Court. Now Max and Steve need to find company directors, Bathsheba Apter and Daniel Moore, to get the debt paid off in full today.
Can I speak to some management, please? Hello, sir. Are you the manager here?
One of the many. How can I be of service to you?
My name's Max Caraher, my colleague Steve Pinner. We're both enforcement agents sent here with a High Court writ. Does that ring a bell at all? Yeah. What's your name, madam? Are you Bathsheba?
Yeah.
That's you. Okay. So you're a director. There's an outstanding balance of £14,082.55.
There was a court case on Friday regarding this, and I won't be aware. There was.
No. The date of the CCJ is the 7th of the 11th, 2016. High Court judgment date 23rd of the 1st, 2017.
There was another court case on Friday, and
There was another court case.
there was supposed to be.
So what was the result?
They didn't turn up.
Company director Bathsheba Apter claims the case is being appealed. But as the latest hearing was dismissed, the writ is still active and must be enforced.
If you pay the money, the 14 days, the money is secure. That gives you 14 days to go through the system, work the system, and if it's in your favour, then that gets it resolved.
Right, okay.
At the moment, the case is still live. There is no stay of execution. That's the problem.
Whilst the agents give Bathsheba some time to try and sort payment, Max starts an inventory of seizable assets.
When do you start nicking stuff? Not nicking.
We won't be nicking anything, sir. That's not how we work. We're here on behalf of the High Court.
Bathsheba has one of the other directors on the phone.
And who's this? Hello, sir. Hello there. Can we just come to some agreement? All I need is for you to authorise the young lady here to pay the bill. It's put in our client account for 14 days, and if you're successful.
But the other director, Daniel Moore, seems unwilling to make a payment. Instead, he makes a fresh claim.
Everything in that office belongs to Axmo. Does not belong to London Rentals or Sales. And if you're removing any goods, you're going to be removing my goods, and I'm Axmo Limited. And if you're doing it against the law, if you want to come and have a meeting with me when I'm there, I'm more than happy to sit down with you. You can't just go in there and fully and start taking things out of there.
While Mr. Moore maintains that all the goods and assets belong to a different company, Steve needs to see proof.
I actually need black and white paperwork to say that this is the transfer of all the goods from this company to this company.
Well, I can't just show that to you standing on 150,000 office, can I?
This is your office here, so somebody must have access to it.
If you want to come back tomorrow, I can show you all the paperwork.
Unfortunately, we're here and we've been instructed to come today, sir. We often come across people that try and use different companies in the attempt to run away from their debts that they run up. I don't see it as frustration so much, it's more of a gain for them. And obviously we're there to collect on behalf of the claimant, so it's our job to try and find out the loopholes that they've fallen into.
Steve and Max have now been on the premises for almost 40 minutes, but the directors haven't made any attempt to raise the money the company owes. So Max continues his inventory.
I've been in this a long time, I can tell when people are going to pay if they're not.
But the directors are adamant that the assets belong to another company.
Yeah.
Coming to something under London Rentals and Management, you're mixing up two different companies.
The law dictates that I need an original bill of sale to show where the ownership is. If you find that, that's fine.
To break the stalemate, Max looks for documents linking the assets to the debtor company.
Oh, there we go, look. Bank statements, yeah. November to December.
To be repossessed as well.
It's not to be repossessed, gain intelligence.
And makes an important discovery.
London Rental and Sales, with a balance of 140,000.
This is what we call a won't pay.
As the bank statements appear to show the company can afford to pay the debt in full, Max is forced to take action.
Okay, I'm escalating the case to the sale and disposal stage. Everything's getting unplugged. If you tell all your staff to start saving up their work.
The agent starts packing up office equipment, ready for removal.
Very much. Yes,
Why do you want to put us through the hassle of taking the moving thing?
I've asked if we can get a payment and you've said no. There's plenty of office goods here, IT equipment. I'm asking you to just keep out of our way while we do a complete removal.
No, just because you want your way, I want my way.
Unfortunately, I'm here on behalf of the High Court and my way wins.
But then, Bathsheba receives another call from Mr. Moore.
Please don't lock us in, that would be a serious mistake.
She instructs a colleague to lower the shop shutters.
That's
Hold on, Loki, and I just put the shutters down.
Okay, stop.
With the door to the property now blocked, Max and Steve are in an unpredictable situation.
Stop.
Steve Pinner and Max Caraher were in Willesden, North London, to recover a debt of almost £15,000 from a lettings company.
We're both enforcement agents sent here with a High Court writ.
Company director Bathsheba Apter claimed the case had been put on hold
There was a court case on Friday regarding this. Why won't you away?
and said they wouldn't pay.
This is what we call a won't pay.
Then a fellow director claimed the goods belonged to another company.
Everything in that office belongs to Axmo. Does not belong to London Rentals and Sales.
But when Max started stacking goods ready for removal, an employee blocked the door.
Put the shutters down.
Stop.
Now the agents must make it clear that blocking them in is a criminal offence.
To obstruct us in the course of our duty is a criminal offence.
Oh, okay.
So please don't do that.
No, even this
Not even this.
Fully open the shutters. Fully open the shutters, please. Thank you very much.
The agents have been on the premises for 50 minutes. With no sign of payment, Max calls for a recovery firm to take the goods away.
Hi, I want to do a complete removal. Can you send contractors down as soon as possible?
Okay, no problem, I'll get that sorted.
Right, guys, all these screens are going. If you can save up your work for me, please.
But then, another man arrives.
Hello, sir. We have paperwork which allows us to be here.
Who are you, sir?
Sorry, I'm Mr. Schwab, I'm a colleague of Mr. Moore.
You're a colleague?
Yeah.
Okay. If you get permission from the director, then I can speak to you. I have a High Court writ. Of course you can see the High Court writ, yes.
So it's against LRS. Have you established that whatever you're touching is that belongs to LRS?
Onus of proof isn't on ourselves.
I'm not here to fight you. I'm
No,
just
we're not here to fight either.
You know.
After seeing the High Court writ, Mr. Schwain starts to negotiate on behalf of company director Daniel Moore.
Well, I'm suggesting that, I mean, it's a lot of money. Can he pay something now?
We've told the young lady
Yeah.
if they pay the debt now, which is 15,000.
Yes. They haven't got 15 grand
Yes,
now.
they have.
I'm asking
They have.
what
They've
is-
got the money.
How do you know they've got money?
Well, there was
shown
a
me the
bank
account.
statement
It's in the account.
on the
Oh, it's in
table.
it.
Let's not.
Okay. This is a small amount of money for a company which The keys on the wall prove it's a viable proposition.
But company director Bathsheba still insists that the company can't afford to pay in full.
All these people are out of business.
Sure.
We don't accept the payment plan.
The reason we're not doing this is because that every move we've made, we've put up a barrier. So we feel that you're not being cooperative.
Mr. Schwaim takes Bathsheba to one side.
I told if we got it in there, then we'll get it out.
He's talking some sense into her. It's always key to find somebody who will half listen to start with. Then you can talk to them and hopefully they can get through to the person that's not listening to you. It's another tool that we have to use to try and get the message across.
Minutes later, Mr. Schwaim is back to talk to the agents.
I'm arranging that you'll get it.
OK. Once we get authorisation from our company, our head office, they'll get a receipt for the money that's paid.
The company has agreed to pay the £15,700 owed.
Check your bank for cleared. Check your bank for cleared funds. She's just authorised.
OK.
Steve calls the office to check payment has gone through.
Jenny, I'm looking for £15,714.55p. Thank you very much.
Are they paid it?
Yeah, it's gone through.
After almost 3 hours at the premises, the case is finally resolved.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Whether it comes within 10 minutes or 5 hours, it is absolutely great when we win. They've thrown everything at us, and through all the odds, we've come out on top, collecting a sum of money owed to somebody who rightfully deserves it. Great work on that, sir. Absolutely excellent.
We tried our hardest.
A leading motoring organisation estimates that the number of UK drivers handed parking fines by private companies has more than doubled in the last 5 years. Research suggests that private parking tickets are being issued at a rate of 1 every 7 seconds, with penalty charges often reaching up to £100. (7 a.m). High Court enforcement agents Gareth Short and Mitch Starr are in Townhill, Swansea.
You seem quite low today.
I am really low.
How's that like? It's whenever suddenly you're happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sad. You're in the wrong country you are now.
Today, they're looking for David Williams, who owes almost £2,000 in unpaid parking fines.
My sale, eh?
The case began when Mr. Williams parked on private property without buying valid tickets.
Red windows?
That's the one.
The parking company escalated the case to the High Court, and now Mr. Williams must pay the money he owes today.
Keep an eye on this window by there.
David Stanley Williams, is it?
Correct. You got me.
Yeah.
What do you want?
High Court enforcement agent,
22
David.
quid, is it?
£22?
Is it 22 quid?
No, more like £1,981.
Oh, I don't know, fuck all about that one. What
No.
the fuck is that one about now?
Okay, the High Court enforcement agent.
Yeah, right.
You'd to execute a High Court writ against you over unpaid parking fines.
You ain't got no fucking money.
No?
No. Yeah? And how the fuck can you get blood out of this stone?
Go and get changed, mate. We'll stand by here with you.
No, like fuck the like.
Trying to work with you. We're trying to give you time here to get this sorted.
I have told you I've got no fucking money.
Right.
Can't work with you. Can't work with fuck all. No.
Thank you very much. How are you, all right? Are you Mrs. Williams?
Yeah, if I'm his wife.
Go move work from where you are, love.
No point being aggressive.
What do you want me to do?
I need you to
Well,
stop
it's not all
it.
we can do.
Stop it.
It's not all we can do.
Thank you very much.
As the agents get invited into the property, Mitch tries to calm Mr. Williams down.
Let's start again, right? Let's lower our voices. We'll stop the bad language and we'll start again from the start, right?
Don't sit down.
Mr. Williams is keen to tell the agents his side of the story.
I was told that I didn't have to pay it because it was a private company.
What's it for?
All the parking tickets.
Yeah, well, unfortunately he did get told that because it was on private property that he didn't need to pay it.
It seems that Mr. Williams had been told by friends that fines issued from private parking companies couldn't be recovered by High Court enforcement agents. Gareth sets the record straight.
They wouldn't just issue fines for the sake of it, would they?
I don't know. And if you read online, everything you read online says as well about private property.
County Court judgment and the High Court writ says different, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, we know that now.
There's a myth going around, especially on social media, that you don't need to pay private parking company fines because they can't enforce their own fines. Part of that is correct. They can't enforce them, but we can. So if you are racking up your private parking company fines, just be careful because they are going to transfer to the county court and then ultimately to the High Court, and we'll be knocking your door. So we can remove assets where they can't.
The agent's visit has clearly come as a shock. But Gareth and Mitch must make Mr. Williams understand what he needs to do next.
How much are you looking for today?
We're here to collect the full balance, mate.
1,900 quid.
No, you ain't got that today. But I can't remove anything from you because I will stop you.
Okay, I'll phone the police and have you for obstructing an enforcement agent doing his duties.
I will stop you, I'm telling you now.
Okay. Like we said, we're here to help you, right, David? So the last thing you want to do is start removing assets.
I got nobody I can phone. I've recently just got off benefits. I've been trying to make a way for myself, and I get pissed off because I got fucking people coming after me for money all the time. And it's hard. When I think I'm cleared of all my debt, another one knocks the fucking door, and it pisses me off even more. I'm a doorman myself, so I don't earn great money.
It's clear Mr. Williams has hit hard times, but the agents must try and get some sort of repayment for the claimant. Gareth gives him some time to try and raise whatever he can.
Okay, so it's now 1:30. We'll give it till 22. We'll give it another 10 minutes.
You keep pushing. There's no way. Where the hell am I supposed to get the money from? I can't do nothing.
If you stop him, you're going to be locked up. You think I can stop him? Can I go past?
Yeah, no problem.
How much do you want?
£1,981, please, and 60 pence.
Realising the agents aren't going to go away, Mr. Williams gets on the phone.
I know it's nothing to do with you, miss, but is there any chance you can lend me £2 and pay it back to you? No chance of that. No chance.
Said no, mate, did he?
Yeah.
So I really don't know what we can do. No, we know one of these people who say that we can't afford it, and then all of a sudden we get money. We really can't afford to pay it.
No point getting upset over it. You told me to pay it, I should have paid it. I was listening to other people before you, again.
With any sort of payment looking unlikely, the agents are duty-bound to look for some assets of value.
There's nothing on you, that's all I've purchased, right?
We'll have a quick look upstairs then.
Good luck with that, man.
There's an edge cutter over there.
Please don't take that.
Anything I got?
There's nothing up there, mate.
Alright, but you gotta have a look anyway.
It soon becomes clear that there's nothing of any value in the house.
Do you want to go and have a chat with your missus and see if you can think of anybody else?
There is nobody else.
As soon as you walk through that front door, realistically you know if this debt's going to be paid or not. Or if not, if the debt has enough assets for you to remove some of the property, I know straight away that it's potentially not going to get paid. So we have got a heart. We just want to work with them really and try and get the debt paid off on their terms, but also terms that the client are happy with.
The agents are running out of options.
What are you thinking?
Just wasting time, we. Do you agree? Wasting time?
Yeah.
Gareth decides to throw Mr. Williams a lifeline.
It's not very often we do this, right? But we'll ask you for £1,000 in 7 days and a remaining balance in 28. So it's £1,000 in 7 days and £900 21 days after that.
Right. Some months.
Got a month to get £1,900.
Right.
What do you think about that?
We can give it a go.
Give it a go.
That's all we can do.
Mr. Williams agrees to pay £1,000 in a week's time and then pay the remaining balance in instalments.
All right then, do your best.
All right then, take care both. Ta-ra. Ta-ra.
It's been a difficult case for the agents.
There was no money inside the house. He was on poor wages, but it looks like he's just been a doorman, so it was impossible to get any kind of result there. But any kind of positive result on it.
Yeah, there's nothing we could do anyway, was there?
No.
Gareth and Mitch faced an almost impossible situation. But in Paul and Max's next case...
How long do I have? You have an hour to vacate the property.
A simple eviction...
I understand that this is probably the worst day of your life.
...leaves a family in crisis.
I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Latest government figures reveal that nearly 9,000 households in England and Wales were evicted from their homes during the first quarter of 2017. The number has risen by more than a quarter in the last 7 years, and last year more than 130,000 landlords applied to courts to get their properties back. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bohill and Max Caraher are in Barking, East London, to carry out an eviction.
What are we doing today?
We have a writ of possession for a Mr. Mohammed Abdullah.
Mr. Abdullah has been renting a flat for 6 years with his wife and 2 children. But when his tenancy came to an end, his landlord decided not to renew his lease.
It's a flat.
On the top floor, I suppose.
Notice of eviction was sent by the county court, but was ignored. So the case was escalated to the High Court, and now the tenants must leave today.
We're High Court enforcement agents. We have a repossession order for this property.
My husband is not at home, so I can't actually help you.
Do you want to ring your husband? Are you still there?
My husband is coming.
The agents have the right to force entry, but they decide to wait for her husband to arrive.
I think the shock of having your home repossessed must be only next to the death of an immediate relative. It's absolutely devastating to have the home and the circumstances that you have known to be suddenly taken away from you, which of course is what happens when we turn up.
5 minutes later, Mr. Abdullah arrives.
Hello, sir.
How are you, mate?
Mr. Abdullah?
Yeah.
My name is Paul Bohill.
Apple.
I'm a High Court enforcement agent. This is
Max Caraher.
We have a High Court writ here.
It
It instructs us to repossess the property today. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, I am aware of it. And
What is it, rent arrears or it's the end of the tenancy?
he's selling the property.
All right.
How long do I have?
You have an hour to vacate the property.
If you can just give me today.
No,
I can.
it's got to be now. But all you need to do is to take what you're likely to need for 24 hours. The landlord is obliged to let you back into the property. so that you can get your personal possessions out and then get down to the council as quickly as you can. So what I'd like you to do is, if you open the door, explain it to your wife.
She's scared.
She's scared. I know
don't
she
worry,
is.
I will.
Can I?
Of course.
I understand that this is probably the worst day of your life, which is why we asked her to call you, and which is why we stood down until you've got here.
Thank you. Come on in. Let me take you. Sorry.
Mr. Abdullah needs to reassure his wife before letting the agents into the flat.
Money. অসুবিধা নেই, খুলো। আমি বলতেছি খুলো, ডোন্ট ওয়ারি, খুলো। ডোন্ট ওয়ারি, তুমি গেটটা খুলো। এটা হচ্ছে কি, ওই যে বাড়িওয়ালার থেকে আসছে, অসুবিধা নাই। এটার জন্য ওয়েট করতেছিলাম, খুলো। চলো, ডোন্ট ওয়ারি। কাম অন প্লিজ।
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, but
Don't worry. You calm down, okay?
John.
Don't worry. That's fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, I have to take all this, and I need at least 2 hours so that I put everything in the back.
We can't allow 2 hours. You only have an hour.
Okay.
I'll start on that first of all.
Yeah. My colleague's going to change the lock, so he'll start
Okay.
on doing that. Please don't forget anything. Make sure you've got everything you're likely to need. Okay.
Thank you.
While Max changes the locks, Paul wants to find out more about how the family got themselves into this situation.
If I can just clarify, what's happened is you've lived here for 6 years, but the landlord now wants to sell the property, which is fair enough, obviously.
Everything started when my wife was pregnant, heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
But suddenly he told me one day that he's selling the property. I said, okay, fine.
Have you looked at any rented property?
I did, because I got multiple health issues. I lost my job, and I couldn't afford the deposit because, as you know, like £600 just the fees for these.
For the agents?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a glaucoma, cataract, and uveitis, and the sleep apnea.
You're a complete write-off, really. Okay, but you actually work now. You're still working.
Yes, I'm self-employed. Try to make a living as much as I
Okay.
can.
Have you made any approaches to the council yet?
They said like until you come, they can't help us with the accommodation and stuff.
Right. So, you've had no problems with the landlord, I take it. You've paid your rent on time. When you got the first notice of the eviction order, you took that down to the council? Yes.
Yeah, they told me like unless they receive the letter you just gave me,
Yeah.
they can't help me at all. I told them my circumstances. I got a 5-month-old son,
Yes.
5-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
and I got multiple health issues. But still, they said like, no, we can't help you unless you come in and take over.
It seems that the council told Mr. Abdullah he couldn't be rehoused before the family were evicted and became officially homeless.
My point was like, if you knew that I'm going through this thing, so why not help me when
Okay.
I was in a position not to upset anyone? I could have like moved my stuff and no one had to go through all this.
No. The only explanation they can possibly give is they've got pressure on the housing stock. They don't know which way to turn because they've got more people needing houses than they've ever got houses to give them, right? But this question of saying don't move out till the bailiffs come, it creates a pressure point which is here today. I'm just sorry that it's come to this. I think it's terrible. If we do 4 evictions in a day, we get exactly the same readout 4 times. They're always told to wait. If they leave the property before the bailiff is there, they will have made themselves intentionally homeless and they won't be rehoused. So it's an absolute catch-22.
The agents have been in the house for almost 20 minutes when a family member turns up to help.
Hello, are you okay?
About
Are you
in
family?
February.
You're on family? Your family, are you?
Yeah, my
Oh,
cousin.
please, yeah, I'm Paul.
But the situation is taking its toll, and Mr. Abdullah wants to explain more about the impact the eviction could have on his family.
I feel really stressed out. I don't know where they're gonna put me or where they're gonna give me temporary accommodation. My daughter's school is here. I'm a self-employed, so I got my customers, and most of my customers are based here. and my hospitals are here, so I don't know what's gonna happen to me. And it's difficult. It's difficult. It's really difficult.
The family's time to pack their essentials and leave is up.
Take care.
Thank you.
Be good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's all right.
Now homeless, the family will have to apply to the council to provide emergency accommodation.
Take care.
As Max finishes installing the new locks, the landlord arrives to take possession of the property.
That's all right, no problem. It's all done. All the locks are changed. There you go, guys. So this is sold, is it? You just need...
Well, just really, yeah. I mean, it was sold.
It soon becomes clear that having had to wait for 7 months to get his property back, it's been a difficult time.
We started trying to go through the process in June. And I said to him, look, this is the situation, sold. Served him notice on October the 3rd.
Yep.
Said to him, look, don't pay rent for 2 months, because we never took a deposit. So I said, don't pay rent for 2 months. It gives you enough time to build some money up, deposit, etc.
With the flat now back in the possession of the landlord, the eviction is complete.
If you look at that as a pretty stock example, really, isn't it? Genuine people, circumstances exacerbated, sadly, by the council's policy not to give them a new property until the bailiffs turn up with the repossession order. He's lived there for 6 years. I feel really sorry for him. Seems an absolutely genuine bloke. Then you see the other half, that the landlord comes in and he was getting so stressed because this was taking so long.
I feel really sorry for that.
Yeah. So you've got both sides of the story.
Recent research has shown that over a third of the UK's small and medium-sized businesses are struggling with late payments. Nearly 1 in 5 businesses affected by overdue payments report that being owed between £20,000 and £50,000 would be enough to drive them into bankruptcy. High Court enforcement agents Gareth Short and Mitch Starr are in Bryn Mawr, South Wales. They're here to collect a large debt of just over £12,000 owed to a utility company for an unpaid electricity bill.
On the way to see Kaylee Cartwright. Owes £12,000. 12 grand's worth of electric's a lot, isn't it?
The agents have been given a home address and another for a commercial property.
That's what we're looking for, but fantastic. Sunbed shop makes sense, electric. Electric, to have a lot of electric, wouldn't it? Here we are.
Knowing there might be goods to seize here, the agents visit this address first, in the hope that the threat of removing business assets might prompt a swift payment.
Look for Kaylee Cartwright, please. You able to get on the phone for her?
I can try and get on of my nephew, David. I'm going to have to get up here, David. There's something to do with Kaylee.
Is Kaylee able to phone you?
It's my nephew.
Brilliant, thank you. Hello?
Hi, mate, alright?
Alright, David, is it?
Yeah.
David, looking for Kaylee,
Any chance you could turn
I'm on my way over. Can I leave my salon if there's nothing to do with me?
No, not at all, no. We won't be leaving the salon, no. I suggest you get Kaylee up here, mate, to deal with it. We won't be leaving the salon, no.
Alright, I'm on my way over.
The receptionist's nephew, David, claims that he now owns the shop. And just minutes later, he arrives.
Hey mate, you're David, you?
Yeah.
Hey mate, alright?
How's it going?
Looking for Kaylee, we are, buddy.
Nothing to do with me, so I don't want to go.
Yeah, we don't want to be...
Can I tell you my lease that I own this property and you can leave then, yeah?
No, we'll do a thorough search of the property.
Yeah, that's fine. Come on then. Let's do your thorough search.
The agent's notes say clearly that Kaylee is linked to this address. Suspicious of the man's claims, they investigate further.
So why is Kaylee giving this address then, mate?
Kaylee, you've owned this address before?
Is she any relation to yourself, mate, or no, no ex-partner, anything like that?
Ex-partner, maybe, years ago.
How long ago, mate?
Nothing to do with me, to do with that's good. Sorry, there's a lease, don't see it.
The lease for the premises is in David's name, but it doesn't prove that Kaylee doesn't still own the business and its assets. Gareth turns detective.
Got to warn you now, as soon as I find one letter with Kaylee's name on it, mate, I will be enforcing the writ here, yeah?
If there is any documentation, it's letters that have been sent here that I couldn't pass on to Kaylee's.
And he quickly finds something.
It's a contract here for the utility warehouse. When was the last time you saw them, mate? Seem very cagey with some information about it, mate.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. It's just funny you're confused why you still got letters from it.
The pile of letters are all addressed to Kaylee. But then Gareth finds a court document relating directly to the debt they are here to enforce.
Come on now, mate. Why is the original judgment for claimant on the floor over there for Kaylee? Right by there. Right by there. So
Kaylee doesn't even know anything about it.
So why has it been opened then?
I didn't open it. I don't know.
So who has opened it and thrown it on the floor over there? You obviously opened it.
Anyhow.
You obviously opened it and put it there for Kaylee. We wasn't born yesterday, David, right?
With evidence to suggest that Kaylee has been trading from the premises, the agents have the right to remove goods belonging to her to offset the debt. But David still insists that the business and its assets belong to him.
Do you want to show you what the summit belongs to?
Yes, please. And also the computer, the desks and everything, mate.
Do you have receipts for every single asset within the side of the building?
Yes.
David shows Mitch an inventory on his computer he thinks proves that he owns all the equipment in the salon.
We're going to show me all the individual sunbeds on there, mate. So we're looking for make and models for each sunbeds, chairs, computer system.
That means nothing to us, mate. It might do to you. It wouldn't to the courts either.
The inventory is just a general list of equipment without specific make and model numbers, and it's not proof of ownership.
Start taking this inventory, buddy.
So Mitch starts listing assets for removal. But then David produces another document.
What is it you found?
Invoice.
The invoice.
Sunbeds.
The sunbeds.
Mitch goes to check it out and immediately spots similarities with the previous inventory.
You've just changed that, mate. It's exactly the same document you just showed me. So all of a sudden changed to 6 sunbeds, optional X series.
Mate, we wasn't born yesterday.
The document looks almost the same as the first inventory David produced. Only this time it has the specific make and model numbers they were looking for.
Both exactly the same invoices.
Exactly the same invoices?
Yeah, but there's a couple of details changed that we wasn't happy with downstairs.
Gareth compares the two documents closely.
So look at this then.
So it says sunbeds?
17th of the 12th, 2000.
Sunbeds in this property?
This is funny. Same date on both invoices, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means they
Give me the last 4 reference that number. 6652?
6652, same reference.
Yeah. Give me the end balance, bud. 75,168.
Correct.
Whoa. Something's not right here, mate.
The agents are suspicious that David may have altered the first invoice he showed them, adding in extra details to confirm his ownership of the goods.
I do believe you changed it.
Right. You can believe in ghosts. It doesn't mean
somebody's changed this, whether you did or those ghosts you're on about, has changed this invoice. So I'm guessing it's you.
The case has taken an unexpected turn. It will take all of the agents' investigative skills to get to the bottom of this situation. Gareth Short and Mitch Starr were in Bryn Mawr, South Wales, to recover a debt of £12,000 owed by Kaylee Cartwright for an unpaid electricity bill.
I've got Kaylee Cartwright, please.
The writ listed the address as a tanning salon, but a man called David claimed to be the new owner and said Kaylee was no longer involved with the business.
So why is Kaylee giving this address then, mate?
Kaylee, you've owned this address before.
But the agents found evidence suggesting that Ms. Cartwright has been trading from the salon.
Why is the original judgment for claimant on the floor over there for Kaylee? Right there.
and threatened to remove assets if the debt wasn't paid.
Do receipts for every single asset within the side of the building.
Then David said he owns all the goods on site.
Do you want to show you what the sunbed belongs to?
Yes, please.
But the agents weren't happy with his documentation.
I do believe you changed it.
Right. You can believe in ghosts. It doesn't mean it's
Somebody's changed this, whether you did or those ghosts you're on about, has changed this invoice. So I'm guessing it's you.
Now, with no proof that David is the rightful owner of the goods in the salon, Gareth turns up the pressure.
You either get hold of Kaylee, or these assets can be removed, right? Have we got a number then?
I don't know the number for that.
Go on then.
Gareth tries the number David has given him for Kaylee.
Calls are not currently being connected.
But then he spots something on David's phone.
You still got on in your phone as Princess. Surely if you wasn't with her, you'd be changing that from Princess to Kaylee. You got a daughter together, have you?
It's clear that David and the debtor, Kaylee, are more closely connected than he initially let on. The pressure seems to be getting too much.
I didn't leave.
You carry on.
With David now gone, and with no proof that the goods don't belong to Kaylee, Gareth and Mitch could start the recovery process. But as this would incur extra fees, Gareth has a plan B.
Go up to a home address now. See you rather pay us now, love, or we're going to go back to the shop and take everything. Something can be paid on this one. Definitely. Ta-ra.
The agents now head to the residential address they have for Kaylee.
12 minutes a week.
If she doesn't pay up, they'll return to the salon to take all the assets they've earmarked for removal. But as they arrive, they spot a work van parked outside.
Smart, tanning, that's all tanning.
The agents now suspect that someone involved with the tanning business has driven straight round to see Kaylee.
Kaylee, is there? Hey, Kaylee, all right?
There's no sign of anyone from the tanning shop, but Kaylee immediately makes a surprising offer.
I've got the money here if you need it.
You're gonna pay in full, you?
Apparently
Do
so.
you know how much the balance is?
What was it?
£12,007.69.
She starts pulling out pre-packed bags of cash from a waste paper bin.
Wish I had been the money in the house again.
It's not even mine.
Is it gonna be all in cash or?
Apparently so.
Though she claims the debt is nothing to do with her, Kaylee produces the full balance of just over £12,000.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Is it okay if I sit down to count that?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much.
Is it unpaid electric bills?
I think so. This isn't my money, this isn't my bill to pay for. It's nothing to do with me. It was in my name. It's not my...
Is it David's, is it?
I don't care.
No?
I literally, it's nothing to do with me. I don't care. It was just the end, but it's not.
Yeah, it's done now. Done. In front of you, yeah, Kale? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7. Yeah, you happy with that? Perfect.
As Kaylee has now paid off the debt in full, the case is resolved.
Right, thanks for being decent, we appreciate that.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Take care. Ta-ra.
But Kaylee's connection to the salon and where the money has come from remains a mystery.
Ka-ching!
Can't complain about that, mate. Turned up, didn't think we'd get a result. Walking out with a bag full of money and a pocket full of money.
Happy days.
You better go to the bank.
Just cash it.
Tomorrow at 9, Rich House, Poor House returns for a new series with 2 new families ready to swap lives and budgets. Coming up next, looking back on a case that tore a family apart, Becky Watts, killed for kicks.